Which one?
We have a presentation from the
Yeah, from the high
high
school.
school.
Oh, okay.
We're all set.
We already did the motion, is that good?
Already did the motion, come on, close. Yep.
All right. Give them a minute to get seated, I guess.
Because the high school's still coming in.
Right.
Environmental class in high school.
Yeah, high school. High school environmental class.
All right, get this started. Let's start with an open Board of Health meeting. Susan, we'll start with the open Board of Health meeting.
Oh, thank you. So the open Board of Health meeting for this month, we had one animal abandoned. That has, unfortunately, that dog was left in an apartment. The tenant left, vacated, and so that was it. Everything else were just outstanding issues. There was a sanitary condition issue, there was a mold issue, standing water, and a miscellaneous issue, which wasn't for odor, but everything was mitigated. So that's the end of the Board of Health report.
Awesome. And the public portion is for the Board of Health.
Is for this, yep, is for the Board of Health.
This is the public portion of the Board of Health meeting. If anyone has something in reference to the Board of Health discussion,
We just,
report she just gave you, sir. All right, seeing none, motion to close.
So moved.
second.
Comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to adjourn Board of Health meeting.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, now we're going to have a presentation. The Maple Shade High School Environmental Science class is going to bring up their Unless project.
Wanted to kind of shift that a little bit.
Hello, we're the Maple Shade Unless Club from the Maple Shade High School, and today we're going to tell you a little bit about our project and some of our ideas for this year's project. So our project, we've been an active participant in the contest for a few years now. We have won or placed in the competition from 2018 to 2023. Every year we are given a few focus animals that are endangered, and we choose one for the center of our project to help reduce the endangerment of. And then all efforts are made for keeping sustainability and eco-consciousness in mind.
Alright, so our focus animal is the Indian white-eye. It is a hyperactive little yellow bird known for the yellow rings around its eyes. It is native to mainland Asia and is under the status of critically endangered and vulnerable. The Indian white-eyes are facing threats such as habitat loss as well as illegal pet trade.
To help these little birds and other pollinators that face the same challenges, we have focused on a few sustainable projects in our community. These projects will help create awareness on endangered species as well as providing sustainable solutions to environmental issues. The next few slides will show you some of the ongoing aspects to our project as well as the plans for this year.
So one of the things that we do every single year is we do fundraisers. So every year we design our own shirts and sweatshirts to raise funds for our program. We have done bake sales in the past, and we're also planning on designing some stickers this year. We plan on building nesting boxes and selling them to our community, and all profits goes to our upkeep of the greenhouse and our project components. And something that we started last year was our greenhouse, and we built one at our school, and we have since planted a variety of plants in it. We've grown lettuce and arugula to donate to our cafeteria, and we also purchased some rain barrels to collect the water ourselves, which we use to water the plants. We also have vertical grow towers in the school as well as an outdoor garden.
Bless.
And all the products we maintain are used in some way for our community. And we are the students that actually run and maintain our greenhouse.
So this year we are enlisting help from the community to build benches out of donated wood pallets. And these are going to be a combined effort to provide sustainable reuse seating for the school and the community as well.
One of our other ideas that we were thinking about was creating pollinator corridors. So these would be placed around the community, and it would include various plants that help various pollinators, or maybe like some flowers, some just bushes and whatnot. But they will be around to help the endangered species that don't have a lot of plants or anything around that they can feed off of or take a little bit of a rest on throughout their journey. So that's one of the big ideas that we wanted to present to you guys tonight.
We're also planning on selling birdhouses for people to purchase to give birds and bats in the area a place to stop and eat while they rest. They are some of the pollinators that we want to help for this project.
So for our project, we have gotten numerous different types of outreach. So one of ours is the billboards, and we have designed and displayed a billboard for our project for the last 5 years in this project, and they have been displayed over major roadways in New Jersey and Pennsylvania. We've also received shout-outs. We've reached out to celebrities, radio stations, news stations, and many social media accounts, and we have gotten shout-outs on our football games, by Preston and Steve from WMMR in the morning, and on our school news, the Wildcat News. And we also have made commercials for the Wildcat News, slideshows for lunch and learns, and have been to different events, including this one, to talk about our project. If you have any questions or thoughts or ideas about our project, we are open to hearing about this.
I just have one question, if I may. Sure. The focus animal, the Indian white-eye, that's just something that the organization is sponsoring, and then how do you help with that?
So the Philadelphia Zoo chooses a variety of focus animals that are either critically endangered or just starting out to be endangered. So the Indian white-eye is one of the animals on that list. So we chose that animal this year to be the center focus animal for our project. So that's what our service projects and all of our fundraising is going towards with that bird.
That's what I thought, but I wanted to make sure. Thank you.
Of course.
Are you going to be applying to the Philadelphia Zoo project? I mean, I know in past years you've won several times.
Yes, yes,
What are
we
you going
are.
to do again this year?
Yes, so to participate in the project, you have to apply to do it. So we are already in the running for it. Our first trip to the zoo to talk about it with the zoo staff is the 29th of February.
Yeah, usually what happens is we draft a report of everything that we've done in the past year and some things that we plan to do, and we send it to the zoo, and that's how they pick the finalists, and then that's when we
Fantastic.
With regard to the building of the benches, is that something that you are going to do? Or are you going to reach out to the community to see if they'd like to help? Because I know you always see them out for the trash.
Yes, so we put flyers up around our school asking for donations of wood pallets, and we will be building the benches, but we also would highly appreciate donations from the community as well.
And
Okay.
we're going to reach out to like Lowe's and Home Depot, because we know a lot of their products come in like the pallets and they can just throw it out into the recycling. So we're going to reach out to them to see if they can donate anything to us. And then we are going to hand make them ourselves and possibly paint like the murals on them for the Indian white-eye, and hopefully place them around the community.
So if you have any flyers or anything that you want to do to get those pallets, send them to us, and we'll make sure they can get into our newsletter. We'll put it up on our LED screen, and then at least we'll give a contact information.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Do you have any idea how many pallets you're looking for?
Be careful what you
Oh,
want.
I'm saying, yeah, be careful what you wish for, yeah.
Just so we can build as many benches as possible to
And the birdhouses and bat houses, how will they be available to purchase?
Yes, so we're going to make those out of the wood pellets as well. So we're
Okay.
going to deconstruct the wood pellets and then we're going to build those individually ourselves. We have blueprints that we're looking into to see what kind of scale we want to do. But we're going to make those ourselves and we're going to sell them as like a fundraiser,
Okay.
just to people around town if they want to hang them up in the front yard. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, for that.
I think I saw our Director of Business and Economic Development here, Jen. She's somewhere in here.
She's
But
back there.
she's putting together some sort of like a maker's mark kind of thing where we're looking for all of new, just basically homemade items and crafted items. So that would, again, that help the environment. So that would be definitely something. I know I called her out, but
Are you ready to get pallets now, or?
Yes.
Where would they be delivered?
I know.
To the school?
Yeah, where would it be delivered?
At Maple Shade High School, next to the Board of Ed office. And then the maintenance crew will move them for us, and then help us with the breakdown and construction.
Do they have a forklift over there?
I think Mr. Winters has one, yeah.
That's great.
Anyone else?
I have a feeling you're going to have some pallets.
Well, thank you very much for coming here this evening and explaining all this.
Thank you.
We really appreciate it. All right, ordinances, introductions and first readings. Ordinance number 2024-01, an ordinance establishing salaries and wages of certain officers and employees of the Township of Maple Shade, County of Burlington, State of New Jersey, effective January 1, 2024. All right, so I'm going to need a motion for introduction on that.
So moved.
Okay, I can repeat that for you. Ordinance number 2024-01, an ordinance establishing salaries and wages of certain officers and employees of the Township of Maple Shade, County of Burlington, State of New Jersey, effective January 1, 2024. Motion for introduction.
So moved.
Second.
Any comments? Roll call, please, Terry.
Mr. Kaufman?
Yes.
Ms. Nunes?
Yes.
Mrs. Volpe?
Yes.
Mr. Weiss?
Approve.
Mayor Schmidt?
Approved. Publication date will be February 15, 2024. Public hearing is March 14, 2024. This is the public portion for the consent agenda. If anyone has anything in reference to the consent agenda they'd like to ask, please step forward. All right, seeing none. Oh, sorry.
Barbara Rathgeb, 200 East Mill Road. I would like for explanation on 2024 R40 and 24 R41.
Absolutely.
Like me?
Yeah, if you want, yeah, I'm just going to look at it. If you got it, that's fine.
2024-R40 is authorizing the transfer of property no longer needed for public use to the West Hampton Township Police Department. The police department, our police department, had some magnets that went for their body cams, their body-worn cameras, that were no longer needed. So under the law, we're able to transfer it to another municipality. So they came in. That's we still have to do it by resolution.
I'm sorry, I should
It's
say
so
that.
it's
When you
surplus.
said property, it's.
Yeah, we have to say
physical property. like-
Nope, it was
No,
body
it's
worn
private.
camera magnets. And then 4041, or 2024-R-41, authorizing the opt-in and examination exemption to civil service hiring procedures. I'm sure, certainly you've heard several times that everybody is having difficulty finding police officers. So civil service has created a new rule where you can do an opt-in to this program, and it's a 9-month program. We can actually go beyond the civil service list, and we can find people that want to be police officers, and they don't have to go through the whole testing process and whatnot. We can kind of usurp that process and then still put them through training and whatnot. They just don't have to sit for that test.
And is it just for police officers?
Just for police officers.
Okay, I appreciate that, thank you.
Who are the officers and employees getting a raise?
The list
Sir, could we
is-
get your name and address
Oh,
for
I'm
the
sorry,
record?
Michael Stevens,
Thank you.
47 Cherry Avenue, Maple Shade, New Jersey, 08052.
Thank you.
Sorry, ma'am.
basically, it's all accordance to contracts, correct?
Into contracts.
Right, I mean, the list, Mike, we can get you the list, it's pretty,
Yeah,
it's pretty in-depth if you'd like.
the ordinance will be posted tomorrow. It gets
Are the
posted
yard
at-
people getting,
I'm sorry?
are the yard people getting the raise?
The yard people are still in negotiations. We've been negotiating their contracts since August, so hopefully we'll have an agreement sometime very soon. I'm waiting to hear from them, but yes.
All right, I don't know this is for, I made a mistake the last meeting that I was at. I said that Front and Maple was bad. I meant to say, and I'm old and I'm a Dago, so I meant to say from Stiles to Fort Landing.
So that road is under our NJDOT grant. That grant's already done, and we did go out and look at that intersection, which is
They
bad.
filled
patched-
some
They
stuff.
filled some stuff.
But that is part of the NJDOT grant, and that should be done this year sometime.
Jen Lucas, 39 Orchard Avenue. I just want to know the temporary appropriations, so R45.
Authorizing the emergency temporary appropriations. Every year, we have to adopt a temporary budget at reorg. When we see that, that's basically what it is. So as we start going through a little bit into the year, there's some things that we move around. That's what it has to
I
be.
just never heard the terminology before, or maybe I did, and I'm just
Yeah,
out of
so.
No issues. Anyone else? All right, seeing none. Motion to approve the consent agenda?
So made?
You didn't list them yet.
I'm sorry.
You didn't list them yet. Did you want to go through?
Oh, look at you. Stop getting all technical on me. I apologize. Let me read the resolutions. I'm sorry.
What
Res-
was for the, you were right, he was closing the public
Oh,
portion.
I'm sorry. I'm
You were
sorry.
closing the
Yeah.
public portion. That
You
is
were
correct.
I'm
So
sorry.
you're going to need a
I-
second to close the
Apologize.
public
There you
portion.
go, all right.
Excuse, I'm sorry, I
Please.
saw something. Suzanne, 132 South Maple Avenue, Maple Shade, New Jersey, 08052. Let me find it for a second. My eyes aren't as good as they used to be. Authorizing police off-duty employment rate. What does that mean?
So we have an off-duty employment rate that basically it's what the officers and what we charge for someone that is for a contractor that comes into town and needs our off-duty. There's a rate that we have to make sure that we cover the salaries of of our police department. So what this is doing is just basically it's accounting for that a little bit additional money that the contractors will need to pay so that we make sure that we get enough from the contractors in order to pay the off-duty rate.
Like when they're out the highway? and
When they do a road job,
Like,
something,
okay,
yes,
like you
that's
see
what it
those
is.
videos.
Yeah, we
Okay.
need to have it by resolution so that we can actually charge those
Thank you.
contractors that.
Thank you.
Because the contractor pays for the use of the vehicle, pays for the officer, pays for all that. All right. All right, anyone else? All right, the consent agenda, resolution
We
number,
need to close, we need to do
oh,
a second.
I do apologize, I thought we already did that, I'm sorry. Motion to close the public portion?
So made.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Now you're good.
All right, let's try this for the third time. Consent agenda, resolution number 2024-R-38, authorizing the use of municipal lot, gazebo park, and temporary street closure for the 2024 Food Truck Festival hosted by Main Street Maple Shade Incorporated. Resolution 2024-R-39, authorizing the approval of annual fireworks display on June 29th, 2024, with a rain date of June 30th. Resolution 2024-R-40, authorizing the transfer of property no longer needed for the public use to the West Hampton Township Police Department. Resolution 2024-R-41, authorizing the opt-in examination exemption to civil service hiring procedures. Resolution 2024-R-42, authorizing the repairs to the water treatment plant number 2 plate collector and award contract to Booth Mechanical. Resolution 2024-R-43, authorizing police off-duty employment rate. Resolution 2024-R-44, authorizing police off-duty employment rate for township and school district-sponsored events. Resolution 2024-R-45, authorizing emergency temporary appropriations. Can I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Any comments? All in favor?
Aye.
I'm sorry, I need a roll call on that, Terry. I apologize.
Mr. Kaufman?
Yes.
Ms. Nunes?
Yes.
Mrs. Volpe?
Yes.
Mr. Weeks?
Approved.
Mayor Schmidt?
Well, it's been one of them days,
I
not
think I'm
there?
not done my medical leave yet.
Approved.
You should play that back.
Please don't.
All right, approval of expenditure list.
Thank
Sue?
you. Current fund bill is $2,926,247.46. Utility fund bill is $399,741.02. Capital fund bill is $104,281.76. Utility capital bill list, $16,410.96. Trust fund bill is $7,750.45, and our grant fund bill list is $13,959.53. I have reviewed the above bill list as submitted and recommend payment when funds are available.
Thank you.
Motion to approve?
Okay.
Second.
Any comments?
Who said it first?
Roll call, please.
Mr. Kaufman?
Yes.
Ms. Nunes?
Yes.
Mrs. Volpe?
Yes.
Mr. Weiss?
Approve?
Mayor Schmidt?
Approved. This is the public portion. Members wishing to speak to council, please come up now. Let's see. Okay, there we go.
My name is Rakesh Patel. I'm from 16 East Main Street, Maple Shade, New Jersey, 08052. I have just.
Can you just move just a little closer to the mic, please? They can't hear you.
I'm sorry, I'm first time speaking.
That's okay.
And my English is poor. I have small problem is parking, and especially Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's a parking lot is packed, and my business is open longer hours, and customer come 5 minutes probably, in and out.
Okay.
So-
And that's the liquor store, right?
Yeah, and I already talked manager, and I have few people here, they knows also, and so I explain her how if they make some things, and if they need to explain more, I can much happy to talk with her again.
Yeah, it
So
is. I did
please-
have the opportunity to speak with Rocky this week.
Please note these things. We depend on a parking. I need only 5 minutes parking.
Okay.
And it's part of my new business tonight, too. As I promised, I was going to bring it up to you all this evening, too. So we will have a little bit further discussion, but what
Thank
Rocky
you.
was suggesting and some of his issues with the parking there is that, people are parking on Main Street in front of the buildings, and like his business primarily is, someone runs in 10, 15 minutes and there's no parking. So he said it's affecting his business. And there are I know that our Business and Economic Development Director had a call today from somebody. So it is becoming an issue up there, and I think that Rocky had some good suggestions. It's something that council we're going to need
And
to discuss.
parking lot also too, like people park there like hours and hours.
Sure. Okay. All right. Thank you for your time tonight, and like I said, we'll discuss that in new business.
Thanks.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Yeah, the dead end on Cutler Avenue.
Give me your name and
Oh,
number.
Ed
and
Chandler,
I'm sorry.
378 Cutler Avenue, 08052.
First name?
Ed.
Yeah, see, a while ago, the street was done on the dead end. You know where I live.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't graded properly. I came up here and I was directed to go to the Township building. I went to the Township building and nothing happened. Now, the water, it just sits in front of my house. It's like, there's a high point on both sides, and I'd like for somebody to be able to do something about that. They gotta regrade it better. I mean, any professional that goes down there is gonna look there and say, no, not graded properly. Where the water lies, in front of my house.
What was your address again?
What address, what's your house number?
378 Cutler
378. I will get a hold of our engineer, and I'll ask him to come out and look at it.
Thank you.
Yep.
And to prove that it's not graded properly, I have a sump pump that goes from the yard to the street. They buried it. So we just came back from a trip, and thank God I saw it, because the water would go nowhere, and it would blow the sump pump up. But I got it. I had to cut my own curb.
Oh, they
I cut my
actually buried your curb?
and
Okay.
drilled a hole into the pipe, so there's like, so it can release.
I don't mean to, you said you just came back from your trip and noticed that it was buried, or they just buried it? Because that
No.
road was done, wasn't that road done?
I didn't notice it at all till we
Okay.
got back, and I'm like, where's the discharge? There's no discharge.
Because that road was done over a year and a half ago, right?
Yeah, but
It was?
I
you-
started
okay.
this.
I just wanted to make sure that it wasn't something like a PSE&G was out there or something,
No,
and we
no,
weren't
no, no.
notified, so, okay,
No.
no problem. Yep, I will have, I'll have our engineer go out and take a look.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Ed. Anyone else? All right, seeing none, make a motion to close.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Staff and professional comments. I'm going to start to my right, just because
Just because.
I can.
Well, Valentine's week is coming up this week, and I know we all support our local businesses, so I'm sure they would all appreciate it if you went out and took your loved one to maybe dinner, stop up in Ziegfeld or bakery, chocolate place, any place up there that you can support, because they would really appreciate it. And we like to keep our business local, so just a reach out. So everyone have a happy Valentine's Day.
Thank you.
I have
Claire?
nothing, thank you.
Nice. Chuck, I'll go to you, sir.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. Just one quick thing. If anybody will take notice that the flagpole at the Veterans Memorial there at Township in Maine is brand new. It was done because the flagpole that was there was a bit of a danger. So we've installed a new flagpole there, and with the help of Maple Shade Rotary, some funds towards that. So if you get a chance, go out and see the new flagpole up there. That's all, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Deputy Mayor Least.
Sure. Monday evening, January 22nd, the Maple Shade Police Department had an open house, invited those interested in becoming a Maple Shade police officer to come out, meet, and hear from current officers about the process. I don't know how they did with securing those that came out, but I understand it was a good turnout.
It was a good turnout. We're running a second event. Information's being posted on that by Community Affairs Officer Corporal Weiss. And then we'll be scheduling up a fitness exam for the people who came to Session 1 and Session 2. And
Nice.
we'll use that kind of as the entry point into the system. And what Sue was asking about, this is part of, where we're going with that type of program.
Nice, good. Nice to know that it was a nice turnout. On January 23rd, there was a meeting. Our police department was awarded an accreditation certification by Harry Delgado on behalf of the NJSACOP Accreditation Commission. If anybody wants to know what that stands for, the chief is right here, because I don't. Followed by that, the Chief Fletcher offered a department overview explaining the importance of the oath that officers take, followed by administering that as the office for followed by administering 7 officers and 6 promotions for a new officer, Zach Shepard. The chief ended with talking on the future of the police department. Then there were closing remarks by council members. January 31st, Dave Carruthers, the DPW director, retired. Congratulations to Pat Lyons. He has stepped into the position, and we wish him well and the best of luck. February 24, Mayor Schmidt represented, did I say that right?
Not February 24th, February 4th.
Yeah, that's good. February 2nd, Mayor Schmidt represented Maple Shade at the Weston and Mount Laurel at the Regional Economic Perspective for Burlington County, and also in attendance were Mount Laurel, Delran, Marlton, and Willingboro. And our mayor did an outstanding job. Reminder of Valentine's Day, if you don't want to get in trouble. And Super Bowl is this weekend, so whoever you're hoping for, I hope they get it. That's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. I'm going to ditto a couple things. Congratulations to our police department on that accreditation. I know that was huge. Excuse me, that was huge. Again, congratulations to Dave Carruthers on his retirement, Pat Lyons on his new position. And of course, to double what Sandy said, buy local. Happy Valentine's Day to everybody. All right, old business.
So I just have a couple things. Most of it was discussed already, but one that I wanted to bring up was the gun range. If you remember, we were receiving several complaints I did reach out to the members of the gun range, specifically to the president. Walkthrough was done, and we are working together to figure out a way of how we can reduce some of that sound. So they were very receptive. I know it's not going fast enough for those that are hearing the noise. I think a lot has to do with the fact that, you know, when they did the crick and everything, they cleared that out. They cleared out a lot of the brush, so that made it so that there wasn't as much of a natural sound barrier. Plus then to say that we're also in the dead of winter, so all those leaves don't have, you know, their normal growth on it. But the gun range has been very receptive. They're willing. They want to come up with something. Again, that gun range has been here for long before all of us. I mean, they've been here forever. But we do understand, you know, the need to be good neighbors as they do as well, and do something about the sound. I know a couple weekends ago, even people in the center of town were saying how they could hear it. So
That's what I heard.
Mhm. So, yeah, but again, they are working on something. Yeah, you do hear it, and I know it's not going fast enough for those that are complaining, or I don't want to say being complainers, but they're complaining about it or hearing the noise. But we are working on it, and the gun range has been willing to, the club has been willing to work with us. The other
Looks
thing,
like a
too, was
crazy
a couple months ago, we had discussed about the Site Plan Review Advisory Board, and about possibly with fees to applicants. We have a new engineer that's in, and you know, our engineer comes on a regular basis to review, and it's important that they're there. It is an informal review, but the question has come up again about who pays for those professionals from the people that are coming before the board. And it's something that I think council should look at, perhaps for maybe the commercial applicants that we have, not our residents, not our, you know, homes and whatnot, but the commercial applicants, that maybe they should pay some sort of flat rate for professionals if they choose to come in. Remember, they don't have to come in, but some of the reviews that are being done are very lengthy before they even get there. So, you know, if Eileen, if you would help me kind of look up some of the law, I've tried to look up the laws to see if we can even do that. But if they're willing to come and there's just a nominal fee that we can cover some of it, that shouldn't fall on the backs of all of the taxpayers for some of it. So those were, oh yeah, that was it, because the other one was the flagpole, but you got that. So that's all. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Chief Fletcher, you're up.
Thank you, Mayor. 2023, the Maple Shade Police Department finished the year with 24,913 calls for service. That's approximately about 1,800 to 1,900 less than we did the year before. 2022, we did 26,883 calls for service. Part of that is because of the service partnerships that we've established. So kind of speak a little bit about that and then break it down some more. But our partnerships with Volunteers of America, Straight to Treatment and Operation Helping Hand, our partnership with the Maple Shade Food Bank, our Grab and Go food box in the lobby, our work with Legacy Treatment Services, and our partnership with the Prosecutor's Office on Arrive, and the work of our part-time officer, Joe Shaw, who specifically does some motel enforcement, and also our Community Affairs Officer, Misty Weiss, and some of the stopgap measures that she's been able to put in place. And I think that's helped. Obviously, we still handle a lot of serious stuff in the calls that we're handling, but some of the things that we're able to filter out has been helpful in order to address some of those things. To kind of expand on this a little bit, we were down to one employee with the Volunteers of America. They've since hired a second person. Morgan started with us a few weeks ago. She's kind of fitting in really nice with Jamie, who's our existing VOA team member, and they've done a great job of just directing resources and navigating people where they need to be. They also reached out to me. They're going to be going before the school board to do a presentation with NECMEC, which is the National Center for Missing and Exploiting Children. And they're going to be doing a presentation on human trafficking with our youth. And they're looking to partner with the school district to provide some specialized training to the staff there on how to recognize it and what to do if they see it. In addition, and just talking about Joe a little bit more and his work out in the hotel and motel district, when Joe started with us, we were almost 700 calls for service in the second half of 2020 during COVID. If you remember, like, you weren't supposed to be traveling around and doing this and doing that. Well, people were doing that fully and freely out in the motel district, that's for sure. So because of Joe's work, his work with the owners of the hotels, and obviously some of the folks who have been patronizing those businesses, the call volumes dropped down over 50% out there.
Fantastic.
So he's got that down to about 309 calls for service for the second half of 2023, which is good. So Joe just stays engaged with the hotel owners, and obviously he's working with the township manager and our solicitor to address some things in the ordinance. We make changes as we need to, but I think that's been a good partnership with Joe, bringing him on board to address that. In 2023, the police department deployed Narcan 43 times, and a lot of that has been along the highway and the transient areas in town. Obviously, with the deployment of Narcan, we're bringing people back essentially from a fentanyl overdose in most cases. Part of the program that the state had pushed out was the Leave Behind program. So now if we go and we deploy Narcan, we're leaving a dose of Narcan behind. If we bring somebody back and they refuse to go to the hospital, we will offer to leave a dose of Narcan with them. That Narcan's only going to last for so long, so it is possible to relapse under fentanyl depending on the strength that you have. So we encourage everybody to go, but we can't force them to go under current laws. If they do go to the emergency room, then generally we won't leave one behind unless there's family members there that we're engaging with, then we will. As part of that, if we know we're deploying Narcan, one of the things that we have our straight to treatment resource person doing is when they come in Monday nights to work with us is do follow up with those folks and reach back out to them and their family members to find out, is there anything that we can do to help the situation and the circumstances to get somebody into treatment. So that's been a good initiative. And in expansion of that, we've also continued our partnership with the prosecutor's office on the GAP program, which is our outreach program that we're doing out in these areas. Where we're going out and we might be at the Wawa at 73 in Waverly interacting with folks coming in and out, offering treatment resources. Some people, they don't have a lot of food, we'll provide them food, we'll provide them sanitary kits to clean up themselves, and the VOA is helpful in providing us with a lot of those resources as well. So it's a good partnership, and we're out here doing a lot, and I think that's helped kind of reduce some of the recidivism that we were seeing with some of the folks we were dealing with. Recently, I was selected and elected to the position of second vice president for the Burlington County Chiefs Association. We had our installation dinner in January. Prosecutor Lucia Bradshaw was there and swore us all in. So I'm looking forward to working with the executive board and working with her office to build a stronger relationship with the chiefs and the prosecutor of Burlington County. And lastly, in our partnership with the PD and PBA Local 267, our Beards for the Year program was once again a huge success. We brought in almost $10,000 from that fundraiser. So we put $5,700 in the account that we use here to do giveaway items for the children in the community. We're going to hold $2,000 aside for the food bank when we do our food drive in the fall, and then we'll make another donation to them. And then we're also going to do a $1,000 donation to Toys for Tots, because I know Gina was hurting this year for toys and for funding, so we're going to continue to support that. And then the remaining money that we have left over, we're going to utilize that in partnership with the PBA to fund things like we did with pizza patrols at lunchtime up at Crust and Fire, where we had a lot of senior citizens stop up and some kids and provide a free lunch, but just a chance to get together with the community and talk with them. And that's my report.
Awesome. Thank you, sir. Good job.
Chief, you're doing a damn good job.
Thank you, Mike.
Do we have site plan now?
We did. We had a pretty extensive site plan. The PSA&G was in, they bought the property where Roy Rogers was, and they want to expand their towers. They said they're getting a little short for Maple Shade with regard to power outages. The presentation they made was to come out within 50 foot of Route 73.
We can't hear you with your hand in your mouth. Can you speak louder or something, please?
Sure.
Thank you.
I didn't notice that. PSA&G wants to expand their power system at the Roy Rogers property where they purchased a while back, and they want to bring their H-beams out within 50 foot of Route 73, which will bring them out further than any of the existing buildings or businesses that are on 73. And we told them that they needed to go back and try to redesign, because it would just be an eyesore with people coming north or south on 73 to see that. So they understood, and they said they would be back in a month or so. Residential property on West Park Avenue wants to put a little addition on the front of her house. She's going to go into zoning for that. It certainly looked like it was appropriate. 301 East Main Street is on the corner of Fellowship Road and Main Street. It just sold, and a new person bought it and wants to put an additional apartment in. The presentation by the attorney was not real good, so we gave him some requirements to come back with for the next month. There's literally no parking for that property. It's yellow curb on Main Street, and it's yellow curb on Fellowship Road because you have Steinhauer School there. So the only parking they have is off-street or in the garage, which they have parking for 3 cars, and with the tenants and the business, they need parking for 6 cars. So we're going to try to be creative with them, but I don't know what they're coming back with. 29 Willow Road is Flanagan's Towing Center. They bought some properties that were residential, and they're converting them to business properties, and we're just asking for some shrubbery and some beautification because all they have is trucks and cars parked there, and they've got just about everything paved. So they said they would do that, and they'd be back. 2910 Route 73, which is Deerfield Associates, Fox Meadow. They're putting in new areas to put multiple dumpsters because they've had a trash problem. Every time you go by there, they have a container there, but there's more trash on the ground than there is in the container. So they're going to do multiple 3 and 4 container setups, which is taking some parking away. So they're coming back with a parking count as to what they're losing and what they might gain. They said they've done night videos, and there are numerous parking places available, and they propose that it is for those people that work nighttime. So there are parking spaces available. We just asked them to prove that. They said they'd be back with that. 105 West Main Street was the old Barron's building, and they did not come. They said they would be back next month. That's it.
Awesome, thank you, sir.
Next site plan is March 5th.
Perfect, thank you. All right, next on our list is our cannabis ordinance. At this point in the game, it's going to come down to, we're going to do the whole council, or we're going to do a small group. What was our consensus?
That's what we're here to discuss tonight.
let's go
So
to
as you know, everybody, we do want to move forward, where we originally opted out of the cannabis ordinance because we weren't quite sure of what the rules and regulations were all going to be, how those ordinances were going to have to be placed. Now that we have clearer direction, and we've brought Mr. Mondello, who basically is the guru on cannabis in the state of New Jersey, on board with us, we need to talk, council needs to decide what type, where, how. There's going to be things that we need to talk with the police department over about security. Again, if you recall, Mr. Mondello had said with those ordinances, council can decide. You have complete control over that ordinance.
Correct.
You decide what you want to be, and what you want it to be for our community. Mayor, you were there the other day at the Burlington County meeting, and there were 6 towns there, and Maple Shade was the only one that didn't offer it.
Exactly.
They all had high remarks of how these companies have come in and what they've done. I know that there was just
Willingboro actually has a drive-through dispensary.
right. They also discussed about just where the market is going on it, basically, is what it is. So Maple Shade still has a lot of interest. I can tell you that once a week, I get a new call about it. Somebody wants to come in. They're patient, they know, but we definitely need to put together. So that's what tonight is about. You all need to decide where you were looking at. I know that we had discussed that, it's not going on Main Street. It's not going in a residential district. We're looking more at a Route 73, Route 38, possibly even Old Kings Highway if they can find something. And then there was also somebody had approached me about possibility of a cultivating business. Do we have any warehouse space? We do have a warehouse that's available. So that is something that's there. But you all need to decide what it is that you want, what you're comfortable with, so that we can go back to to Ron Mondello, who's going to design the ordinance and draft an ordinance. And this way I can speak with the police chief and his team as well, because I know that there's security issues. But those are things we have to get the ball rolling. We can't just continue to have Ron come in and say, what do you want to do?
Right. Yeah, I believe.
What do you all want to do?
I think a retail would be the most effective because it's difficult. We don't have the warehouse space or the room. And also probably the delivery services from other towns that are offered.
Yeah,
so that's a possibility.
Well,
So delivery right now from another town coming in, we
Right.
can't deny that at all. But
Well,
we
you
can
can't
have
deny
a
it, so
delivery
but we
business.
can have a delivery business, that's what I'm saying, so, that's another means. But,
Yeah, the retail, and if we
And
can
the
do
main-
something
and
with
the
that
highways.
cultivation.
yeah.
I mean, that one, there's only one warehouse in town that will work.
But,
and
well,
happens to be
they'll
available.
grow up instead of out, so
What's that?
they'll grow up within the building instead of out,
Oh, I get it, yeah.
So right now we have retail, delivery. Like I said, warehouse, industrial warehouse space is limited here
Yeah.
in Maple Shade. But if there was, are you against some sort of cultivation or?
And talking to the other towns, that is really the tax break for the residents. That's really the moneymaker, is the cultivation. So if that was a plausible option for us, I think we should definitely look into it.
if we have a place to put it.
Yeah, if
We
you're
do have
allowed
one.
and then there's a place, so it'll come.
Correct, I said, worst case, we'll allow it, and then if
Yeah.
that building's not available, then it
Not
just
available,
sits.
then it's not
Okay.
available.
So there's,
But it would
remember,
have
you
to
have.
be
you have a-
named and it would be, well, you wouldn't grow it outside anyway, because it's
No,
cold.
it's
Has
got
to
to be inside. It's got to be
Yeah.
40,000 square feet. It's got.
Yeah, so you
There's a
have-
lot of stipulations. to it.
Stipulations.
Grower, processor, wholesaler, distributor, retailer, or delivery service are the categories. So right now we have retail, delivery, cultivator is the grower.
Grower, right.
So,
I would think those three would be our market.
Okay.
You know. And obviously, I'd want to have a conversation with you and see, get some opinions from you.
And of course,
I can see the
security.
smirk.
He's not gonna want it.
But it's the security. They need to
Yeah,
have very
for
good security.
purposes, definitely.
So I know the New Jersey Municipal Managers Association did a survey amongst their managers and asked all the towns that currently have it and what has been what's been their take from it. And they have also, revenue was obviously number one. Like, revenue has been generated greatly. So the question was back, okay, you're bringing in this money, but what are you doing with, what's security? And they have, and I can connect you with those two. I mean, the security they've been very detailed about what they want in their security, what they need to make sure. They said anybody that has come in retail-wise, the security was already part of their plan, so it wasn't anything. And only one town had an issue, and it was because the representative of the company was just, he kind of skirted through the process, and they didn't do a full vetting of him, and that's where they wound up having the trouble. So those things will have to be into, how does this grower or this applicant get vetted? As you know, this is not a 1-month process. This is a long process. I mean, here alone, it would be, on our side, it would be an 8 to 10-month process, but for them to get licenses, it's anywhere from a year to 2 years. So unless somebody already has a license in hand, which they won't because Maple Shade has already opted out, so they don't have a license to be able to come here, you're still looking at a 2-year process for what we're going to do here. You're in agreement with Route 73 and Route 38. Obviously, you don't want it anywhere near, we don't want it anywhere near a residence.
Right.
So that will be, are we talking 50 feet? Are we talking 100 feet at least from a residence? Again.
And one of our biggest, I guess I'll say an issue is most of our commercial backs right up against residential. If you look on 38, there's, the retail store, and there's apartments or there's homes directly behind it. So we're definitely going to have a little bit of something to really take into
Well,
consideration.
we have to look at industry standard also,
Right.
to see what
Which I don't
other
believe that
townships have
really,
done.
other townships, I don't think there's an industry standard. I mean, I've spent a lot of time on this with, down at the league and all that. And
Yeah,
I
me
didn't
too.
hear of anyone saying, hey, the state's telling us it has to be
Right.
whatever, a foot, a mile, whatever. There was none of that, so it's really a matter of looking around and seeing who's doing what.
Right.
And
what works.
What building, if we have, building X that they want to do, and it's 3 feet from somebody's house, obviously it's
that's
going to
not
be a
happening.
problem.
Yeah, not
So,
happening.
so that's all the stuff we're definitely going to have to look into.
The other thing would
But,
be
you
the
know,
local
I
tax.
think, so the residents understand, most of the other mayors that I've spoken to and the other towns that I've spoken to, they're paying 3 or 4, sometimes 5, big salaries with that, high-end police, some of the upper echelon payments to the police with it. They're bringing in $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 a year from these businesses right to your taxes. So it really helps keep our numbers in line, try to keep our taxes down is what we're going to try for, so.
So speaking about taxes, obviously, the max that you can go to is 2% on gross receipt sales. I'm assuming that's where we want to be. We want to be at a 2%.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Everyone else is, absolutely, yeah.
And I think we should have probably 5.
We have to decide how many licenses, correct?
Because you have
I
3
was-
different,
I was thinking 3, because I
well-
don't think we have 5 locations.
well, you have 3 different options of.
Well, no, I'm talking retail. I'm thinking 3 retail.
Well, I mean, in total, you have,
I think you still have to break it down. You have to say 3 retail, 1 cultivation, 1.
all right, well, but
Right.
5 altogether, I'm saying. That way it gives them some leeway. And there's a lot of money that goes out there, and, some people don't finish the process because they run out of money before they get to that
Oh, yeah.
point.
Sure.
So that's why I'm afraid if we don't give enough applications or, what's the word I'm looking for?
Licenses.
Yeah,
Licenses, then we
So-
may lose on that, so
How many retail are you comfortable with?
3.
I was going to say my number was 3.
Yeah, 3, but I mean, 1 cultivator and possibly 1 delivery, so that way it spreads it out a little bit.
Yeah, the retail and the delivery are 2 different licenses,
Two
correct?
different
Okay,
licenses.
just want to make sure, all right.
Yeah, we've done a lot of reading on this through the years, and that's why we opted out in the beginning.
Yeah, because
we didn't know what we would be stuck with.
They didn't have any guidelines.
So I will get with Mr. Mondello, and I will ask him to at least put a draft together, something that we can look at, so that you have it in front of you. And then we'll go from there. I'll get police chief and his team, get their input, and then we'll present you with something in the next couple weeks.
Susan, if it's possible, can he give us some numbers in terms of what we might gross, what we might
So that
get
was,
from that?
yeah, so that was part of his presentation too, and let me just go back to, I just had that page open, sorry. Let me just, so you're looking at a retail, which is typically, 1,500 to 3,000 square feet, and those retail establishments are bringing in anywhere from $180,000 to $240,000 a year. Cultivation or the growing, and it takes about 16 to 25 months for them to do anything. There again is anywhere, but their gross and our receipts would be anywhere from like $250,000 to $350,000 a year. That's huge. Those are big numbers for a municipality like us. Of course, you go into manufacturing and
Yeah,
they blow those numbers. You're up in the millions there.
Yeah, we can't do that.
But at those, and that's per site. So 180 to 240 for a retail site. If you wind up with 2, it's not bad. I mean,
But what does delivery, what's the delivery revenue? Is that?
delivery revenue would be considered. They have to have a separate
Retail.
license, but it would be a retail.
Okay.
And to give you an idea, I found some information through one of the websites that I use for this. Total cannabis sales in the 3rd quarter of 2023 in the state of New Jersey were 206, 157, 695, so $206 million. So it is
Just in the
absolutely.
quarter, in the 3rd quarter.
That is the 3rd quarter of 23, correct. So it's huge. If we can make some money and try to keep our taxes reasonable, I think that's an awesome thought.
Okay, I'll work on that.
All right, new business?
We do have some new business to go over. The first one, we'll talk a little bit, it'll go into 2. It is about parking. Of course, Rocky had come up and discussed about the parking on Main Street, what his concerns were, specifically for businesses such as his, that we're the customer is just running in, getting something, and then running out. So you're looking maybe a total of 15 minutes. You know, the problem is that people are parking in front of these storefronts. You have your upstairs apartment complexes that are parking there all night. So they're there hours and hours. And I know the chief and I have talked about parking up there, and we were coming up with different designs. You know, we wanted to see if we could put lines on the street to kind of alleviate some of the issues. But this is more about a timeliness and times, you know, a time issue. Some of the things that we had discussed with Rock were that, you know, maybe we put somewhere in front of those retail stores that there's a limit of 15-minute parking. You know, we have signs on Main Street that say 2-hour limit parking, but maybe we need to put, again, we need to really look at the parking situation and where the parking is in front of the stores and what is being done. So my suggestion would be is let's reach out to our planner and let's talk with them and see, hey, like, this is what we have. What are your suggestions? What are you seeing in other towns? And how are these towns dealing with it? And we've talked for years about not wanting to do any sort of meter parking. You know, but as we grow and as Main Street begins to grow and we get new businesses, maybe that is something down the road that we do look at for there. Problem is with the meter parking is then there needs to be some sort of enforcement to it. And again, until you've built a full Main Street that has shopping and has that, you know, that people are going shop to shop to shop, it's not something that I'm completely in favor of, but that again, that would be down the road. But I think for now what we need to look at on Main Street is let's get a planner in place, let's have them help us design it. There has to be obviously discussions with the county as well, because it is the county roadway. But I think that would definitely help our businesses on the street. Of course, at the end of the day too, we got to discuss parking. I mean, we need other places then for this long-term parking to take place. But then the other thing that I wanted to bring about parking was we are having problems on Linwood, and those problems are related to the recreation areas that we have there, and having just no parking again there. And Misty, our community affairs officer, has been part of the discussions. I met with her the other day. We had sat down and discussed what the issues are. When the hockey tournament or when the hockey program has their large tournament, there really is no parking. So what you're being handed here is just one of the maps of the area. What I've done is I've highlighted, you have on yours it's blue. That's a township-owned parcel there. And I'm going to scroll over so you can see it by the map up here. So this was a drone that the police officers were so kind and they went out and did for me. These are the properties there. It's 2 properties that are on West Park, and they back up to this area. And my suggestion is because we own that parcel right there in blue, which is just about 2 acres, that perhaps what we can do is create a parking lot out of there, a gravel lot, put a split rail fence up there. It will alleviate some of the on-street parking. There's been some discussions about maybe making part of the area no parking down closer to the down to the area here. You can see a little bit, and the area that I'm talking about would be right here. It is on a triangle area is what we have. I'll send this picture around. I've kind of.
That's 2 acres, you said?
2 acres is what, that's our parcel.
That's on Park Avenue?
No, that's
Or
on
Linwood?
Linwood. That's on Linwood, but the properties there back up, right, they go almost to the entire area there.
Yeah.
So it would be this area right here that is already township owned. Again, I'm not looking, I wouldn't look to put asphalt in there. It would just be more of a gravel parking lot. If that's something that you're interested in, I can get with the engineers. We can sit and we can come up. It shouldn't be a huge lift, but it will alleviate some of that parking issues that we have there.
Look into, I've had some phone calls from residents on that street saying, you know, when they have a tournament or whatever, it's just chaos.
It is.
And the way they have to exit too.
Correct.
Right, so that's the other thing too. And you know, when you come through the hockey rink there, you know, it is just one way. So they come from Park and turn on there, and then they're supposed to come out through Linwood. It doesn't always happen. Our issues is that for first responders getting down, when they're parked on all sides there, you're not getting an ambulance, you're not getting a fire truck, it's difficult for the police cars to come down. So if that is something that you are okay with, you know, perhaps that's what we look at first, is that parcel that is owned by the township right there. Again, it's on a diagonal. It's really odd how it's, how it's blocked off and how it's cut off there, but it is. We wouldn't have to acquire any land,
Could
and
we
again, an easy.
Could we have some buffer trees for the residents?
It would
though?
still be, we would still, yeah,
I
it's
mean,
not
you know,
taking
you-
out,
you
it
can't
literally
clear it
is
out
right
and
here.
you
Sandy,
know.
if you look at the picture right here,
Yeah.
it literally is, like, if you see my, I don't know if you can see my arrow, my
Right, I
pointer
see it.
going, so it's on a
Yeah.
diagonal there. I'm talking about just this portion in the front, that's almost right there in the right of way.
Okay.
That we're already maintaining anyway. But so it would leave all of these trees for.
Okay, good.
Now, I will tell you
Yeah,
that
'cause
this
I-
house right,
So the
Yeah, because they're not on our property.
so right, all those trees aren't on our property. Some of those trees are
Who owns
on.
that property?
So,
I thought that was township
So-
property.
It's coming off a park.
No, my son doesn't own that.
so the diagonal, we own a triangular. If you look at the map that I gave you,
Right.
we own that triangular portion. That's about 2.2 acres right there. That would be big enough to put some
Oh,
parking.
I see it.
The 2.2 acres does not go directly up, we wouldn't go into
Right,
their
because
property.
that
We're
lot
gonna-
is a weird shape in the back
It's
of
a very
that
weird
house.
shape.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Now,
Okay.
ironically, the resident that lives here in this house, right here, at 428 West
Yeah.
Park, she
Uh-huh.
saw us poking around
Yeah.
and came out and said, "Oh, I'll sell you my entire back lot," but we don't want the whole
Wow.
back. But
Okay.
she was always under the assumption that it was all township owned
Yeah.
from the trees. It's not township
Wow.
owned. She owns that. They own that one, and then the one next door owns to the tree line too. So again, it would just be that parcel. It's 18.01-4. It's about 2.2 acres.
Why don't you just make it even?
And again,
Yeah,
put
isn't
a
it
gravel lot in
Yeah, why
there
don't we
with a
just,
split
why
rail
don't we just
fence.
square off the triangle?
Well, I'd love to, but then we have to purchase part of that property.
Right.
So, listen, my first diagram that I had has us doing that, taking a square of it, is what
Yeah,
it is.
just
and
making the
it a
lot
square.
line all the way the same, all the way
But then you've
up.
got to subdivide, and, you got to make subdivisions, and
Yep.
Yeah, I don't mind.
for the immediate fix, I mean, a very quick, easy,
Because it's not like it's an
inexpensive-
everyday thing.
Not an everyday thing, but it
Right.
would alleviate
Right,
residents
it's a-
have parties
it's a
over there.
seasonal.
Right. But
Seasonal.
if a resident has a party over there too,
Yeah, they can
their
use
guests
it,
can
sure.
sit in there.
Yeah.
With proper signage that there can't be, tractor trailer parking and
Right.
overnight parking there unless they do it by permit. And those are things we can discuss. But again, to help this parking issue here, with the hockey rink and then just with Linwood itself, it would take those off. And then again, speaking with the police department and some of their members, it's if we can make one side no parking at all, they're going to have no other choice but to park in that parking lot. So if you're okay with that, I will continue, I will move
Yeah, I'd like
forward.
to get some information.
Okay. So that's the parking issue. The next is, we also had, let me mark these off just so I know it's on. Next is we have a citizen leadership form that came in. So that is here. Let's see. For the planning, those are all those. For the planning board is what they're looking for. So I'd ask that you review that form and we can discuss, or we can get back. You can get back to me, and if you are okay, then at the next meeting, we could appoint to the planning board. It is a gentleman that, here from Maple Shade, been in here for 55 years, was self-employed as a contractor in Maple Shade for many years, and has some experience with planning and zoning, site plan meeting, getting approval for various projects. So if you would just make sure that you take a look at that, and if that is something that you're willing to move forward with, we do have a need on planning board. We could do that at our next, we could do that at our next meeting.
Okay, great.
That's the citizen leadership. Next issue that came, I probably should have put it under old business, but it was something that came back up. If you recall, several months ago, I had brought to council about lighting at the baseball fields. They have come back and said that they do have a need for, as their program grows, their games go a little later. They're looking for temporary lightings that obviously would just be the temporary standards, the generator light standards that it would be. They had gotten a quote for how many they needed. They would need 8 standards, and it was about $6,700 is what they were looking at. I would definitely, I think that quote's a little high, but if council is okay with them doing that, we could definitely put some sort of parameters in place as far as how long and how late those lights were lit for.
This is Woodlawn?
Woodlawn and for Fellowship, for both. It's right now, it is a more, efficient and economical way of doing it than as opposed to putting in the big, tall Musco lighting. It would give them the need that they have to be able to keep their games going and to keep the season going a little bit later.
What would the fallout from the
Yeah.
lighting be?
So, well, we would make sure that it has to be directed, or that it's directed in the right direction, that we're not directing it at, at Fellowship, I don't think it's going to be as much of an issue, because right there, you're looking at public storage. You do have some of the homes that
Yeah,
are right
there's
there,
homes on the-
but the lights aren't, we'd make sure that they were directed in such a way that it's giving the ambient light on the field where it needs to be, and not directed out at the street and whatnot.
So are they things that were going to go up?
Yeah, so the lights would be,
Like construction lighting?
Construction, that's exactly
Okay.
what it is. It's no different than what we've used, at
On the
at our
roads.
National Night Out events and those sorts of things. But if council is okay with that, then I will speak with baseball and let them know that, that we can explore it a little bit more, come up with some sort of agreement,
Is that price for rental, or is
So it was for rental, it's $6,700 a month. They did go to Sunbelt, and I would definitely reach out to say, hey, listen, like, this is Township. I'm thinking that maybe they didn't realize that it was
How many months will it be up?
I think I saw Chuck Marsh here. How many did you need it the last time? We didn't know how many?
5 months.
5 months total?
5 months total, yep, it'll be March through July.
Okay, so, and then really what it would be is your earlier months, and then your later months are where you'd have the longer uses because the light, so.
Absolutely.
So in all, you'd probably do it 3.5 months is really where the.
Correct. And part of whether it's June or July for the Greatest Real Tournament.
For the tournaments.
2 weeks, yeah.
So, and if that's something, would you be willing to, if it's going to be a tournament, they're going to go a little bit later, obviously give us those times that they need to be, and then make notification to the residents and.
Absolutely.
So those are things that we can work out.
Yeah, we have to be good neighbors because
Absolutely.
they're going to be freaking out.
Well, and that's it. Listen, you don't want them on till 11, 12 o'clock at night. But if game is going till 9:30,
I understand because I've been in softball.
But that's why I'm
and
saying that
played,
maybe
yeah.
being good neighbors,
Yeah,
and
being good neighbors, yeah.
we would definitely
The
reach out.
intent is absolutely kind of follow what football's doing right now at Aces during the week, where I think the time limit there, I think everything's off at 9 or 9:30.
9:30, yeah.
It would, obviously we don't want to upset the neighbors, and then we're just looking to expand, our capability of holding more games, more tournaments, helps with our budgeting, helps with.
So if we did the 9:30.
What fields would that be utilized on?
Woodlawn Complex, Field 3 is
The-
Nolan Field.
I didn't hear what you said.
Woodlawn is Field 3, Nolan Field, and
Oh,
then
field.
Township Field.
So just one field on Woodlawn?
Yes, just the one field.
Just Nolan on that? What's the one
There's
that's,
2 baseball fields there, we're just looking for one. That would be the old CYO.
Yeah.
Field with the blue.
Mhm, the
field
first
house,
one.
Right.
Clubhouse, and then Fellowship along where the skate park is.
Sure.
So if we put something in place with a time limit and on those fields, and then of course if there's a tournament and it needs to go later, then we get those approvals as well. Is council okay with us at least exploring it? And
Yeah, because we got to figure out.
So
the
that $6,000 is for both fields to be covered?
all 8 a month. It's a monthly rental, $6,700. But again, did you identify yourself as?
all 8
maybe
lights,
say
I guess.
baseball?
Oh, lights,
Yeah.
okay.
Or I did not you.
I had helped in part of this. I work for Sunbelt.
Oh, that's right.
We actually gave a tremendous discount on it.
Okay.
For other school districts, it's almost double that price.
Okay. There we go, right from Sunbelt. You heard it. Heard it firsthand. I'm sure somebody could go back and, hey, can you really
So now what
help
can you
with
do to
that?
make it half of that?
Really,
So
the big issue is, though, is, Council, are you okay with allowing this to happen? We'll work on some parameters. You tell me.
So the end result is who's actually paying for it?
Well, that's going to have to be part of the discussion, too, is how we're going to pay for this and what we're going to do and if it's going to be all the time, and those would be discussions. I have not had the full discussions with baseball. So this is something, I know Lauren's been discussing with them. She brought it to me after she got me all the information, and I said I would definitely bring it first. We had to see if you were open to it. That's the first hurdle.
Because I would think if it works, you're going to want to do it again next year and the year after. So
I'm
it's
just
something we need
concerned
to-
about the spillage.
And again, we could have, listen, we could bring our, the township engineer out, they'll look at it and know there are lightings. I mean, there's things that for baseball, the field has to be lit certain ways anyway. But if you're talking 9:30 and the lights are off,
Yeah, what's spillage, especially if it's
Yeah.
late to 8:30.
Yeah, right, that's what I'm just concerned about. The room will be full with Woodlawn Avenue.
And again, so maybe I think if we reach out to the residents, they can explain the needs, maybe they hold a meeting or something with them, we get it, and just let them know what it's
Yeah,
going to
that would
be. But again, we're talking about, our youth baseball, this isn't something that other communities don't do, they all do it. I just think we just need to be good neighbors, and I'm sure that they just need to be,
They've
good
been
users
through it.
of it. So as long as
They
you're
know.
okay with it, then I will
Good with
continue
exploring it,
conversations.
absolutely,
Yes.
yeah. Everyone's
I'm
good.
fine, as long as we have open communication with everybody there.
Very good. And the last thing is our chickens.
Chickens.
So, yeah, so we've had several requests. I'm
Again.
sure that you've probably seen it on Facebook. A lot of residents want to know what council's thoughts are on allowing chickens. So what we did is we went
What are
ahead.
you laughing about, Jen?
So what we did is,
there's
well,
I thought we
yep.
settled this.
We did. Now it's
So
coming
it
back.
was brought up again. I was asked to bring it up again.
You came up, apply to the zoning board, that's what
Yep.
we
That's the
continued.
way to do it.
Right, so, which is good, but again, so what we did is we came up with towns that were similar to Maple Shade, as far as their demographics, as far as how their houses are, how close their houses are, and what towns offer what. So, again, I know that years ago it was shot down, but I did say that I would bring it to council again. And if you're okay with that, then it will go to zoning, and it can then, because it will have to be going by an ordinance to allow.
No. I said, when we had this discussion before, it was,
I've never had the discussion
no,
before.
Yeah,
just-
this
before,
is
just
before me.
previous, that it was, we did not permit it, but if they wanted to, they could apply to zoning to get a variance to have chickens.
So they're looking to allow it, that these are just these are just straight rules, flat out, this is what you have. Now, again, you can put those things, you still get licenses to have them, there are regulations for them. We've done the research. So if it's something that council is willing to reconsider
Can listen.
and listen, then what we would do is we would put together, some ideas of what we're thinking would work here, and then we can present it back to you. But again, it's about whether you're willing to even look at it.
Well, we
And,
already
I
know
think-
there's already chickens in town.
we know that there are chickens in towns, and,
Yeah.
it's,
And pigs,
yeah.
rabbits.
So,
No, I
Again,
mean, if
it's-
everyone's willing to hear it again, we'll hear it again. I'm in.
okay. Okay, then we will put some things together of what we think may work here in town, just to start, and then if that's something that's interesting, then we can go to zoning, and we do have residents that have told us what they have and are now getting rid of, because of course, as soon as they told us, and we told them that it was against the code, they couldn't have them. I don't want to go in front of zoning, so we have a pretty good idea of what is being looked for and what is being sought out after. Again, it's changing with the times, is really what it is, and what residents are doing, so. But I just wanted to give you something in your hands, just to kind of show you what our neighboring communities have and what they've done, and what they've allowed, so. That's the end of the new business.
Thank you.
Awesome, thank you very much. We have no reason to go back into close, correct?
No, sir.
If no one else has any other comments, make a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next council meeting scheduled for February 22nd, 2024 at 6.